Jam. Toon Jam.
Hello and welcome once again to Toon Jam. I am Matt.
And I am J-Man.
And today we are talking all about the Owl House. That's right, a Disney show. I feel like we've done a Disney show in a while, so let's kick off. Let me tell you a little bit about it. The Owl House is an American animated fantasy television series created by Donna Terrace and premiered on Disney Channel on January 10th, 2020. The series stars the voices of Sarah Nicole Robles, Wendy Malick, Alex Hirsch, Tati Gabrielle, Isaac Ryan Brown, Mae Whitman, Cissy Jones, Matthew Reese, and Zeno Robinson. In November 2019, the series was renewed for a second series prior to the first series premiere, which premiered on June 12th, 2021. In May 2021, the series was renewed for a third season consisting of 3 specials ahead of the second season premiere, which was later announced to be the final season. The Owl House has received universal acclaim by both critics and audiences and has become particularly notable for its LGBTQ+ representation compared to other Disney media, including becoming the first Disney property to feature a same-sex couple in leading roles. The series also won an award for children's and youth programming at 2021 Peabody Awards. Terrace said that the lore for the series was inspired by art and storybooks of Hieronymus Bosch. According to Terrace, the hardest decision when creating the series was whether to implement potential lore elements in the series. She also stated the lore of the series is 70% made up, with writers also drawing inspiration from books about witchcraft for spells and character names to add depth to its lore. The Pokemon franchise served as a strong influence on the series.
That's strange.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like we saw that in the first episode, but, you know, food for thought.
Yeah, she hadn't faced her first gym leader yet, though. So.
Yeah, yes. I mean, things change. Things change, you know. You catch a Bellsprout, things change.
This is true.
Apparently, there was a concern with the Disney Channel over the series' horror elements. Terrace nevertheless chooses to feature horror elements, arguing that Disney is the full spectrum of emotions, creatures, and scary things. Terrace said that Disney allowed me to do more than I thought they would. She also said that the producers don't want to pull their punches on the show in its horror elements, as she loved being a little scared as a child, though she also wanted to balance them with the comedy and heartfelt moments. She described the magic elements of the show as a framing device for the grounded emotional stories featured in the series. The series initially had a darker tone, as Terrace wanted to create a TV series targeted at older audiences, where things like whimsy and darkness can coexist, but had to tone it down during season 1 to find a compromise between her personal ideas and Disney executive wishes, though she nevertheless was proud of the final product. The tone of season 2 is closer to what Terrace originally intended.
Oh.
So there you go. So, you know, big changes. It's one of them where there's a lot going on over the seasons, clearly. It's always worth noting that we just watched the first episode and review based on that. Not reviewing the series as a whole, but, you know, an intro to a series. That being said, had you seen this before, or have you watched any of it?
No, never witnessed it. I was actually getting it confused with like the Loud House series at some point. I don't know why.
So it's like the owl version.
Yeah, it's like you know, the owl family
with less owls, I suppose, than you'd imagine.
Yeah. When I originally saw the thumbnail for this, I was like, is this the right show? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was. Turned out it was. No, hadn't seen it though. So this is my first endeavour going in.
I'd not seen it either. It was entirely fresh to me. I'd seen it possibly advertised on Disney Plus or something like that. Before, but I was just like, oh, I've never heard of that. That was the extent of it.
Ah,
Looks cool.
yeah.
Looks interesting. So yeah, so fresh to both of us. But how is it rated on our favourite hotspots of rating, IMDb? And today we have a Rotten Tomatoes score to look at as well, both critics and audience. So I'm going to take scores down, then we'll go over them. So IMDb, what are you thinking?
I think 7.6 IMDb.
7.6. Okay. And what about Rotten Tommies?
Or audience.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go 85%.
Okay.
85, and then Tomatometer.
Yeah.
You know, the full critics. I'm going to go 100%.
100%. If it's there, you've got to guess it.
That's it. It's the only way to do it.
Okay, so let's start. Let's start with IMDb. Okay, I can tell you that the rating on IMDb is what was it you said? 8.5, 8 point something. You definitely said 7 point. I'm sure you said 7.6.
7.6 then, yeah.
Did you want to change it? Are you?
No, 7.6. That's what
I mean, you just guessed 8.5 a second ago. Yeah. That's a big difference.
That is a massive difference, yeah. Now I think I'm getting, those numbers that look nothing alike.
Yeah.
Getting those two confused with each other. So yeah, we're going to go 7.6.
Okay then. Okay, so the IMDb rating is 8.
Huh?
That's it. Just a solid 8.
Oh, I was like, he's really holding on to this last digit.
That's 2 weeks in a row. We just had a solid round number.
Yeah.
This one, however, is based on 7.8 thousand ratings.
Oh wow! Yeah.
That's more what you'd expect, isn't it?
Yes.
So
not too far off though, with 7.6.
No, yeah, but a good score.
Yeah, 8. That's high.
That's good IMDb score.
I think I'm pretty sure in my own personal IMDb, there's only 10 titles rated 8 and over or something stupid like that. So well, yeah, high. Yeah.
This is one on average. Okay, so audience was. This is where you said 85, wasn't it?
85, yeah.
85%. The audience score is 95%.
Whoa.
High.
Yeah. Those 5%ers coming in being like, nah.
Yeah. There's a show like this though, there's always going to be people against LGBTQ plus stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so to get it to 95 is impressive.
It's really good. Yeah, it's very impressive. And one in the eye for those. Get out of town.
Naysayers.
So well played, guys. But critics, Tomatometer.
Yeah.
You said 100%.
I said 100. Yeah.
You said 100. You went for the high ball. The answer is 100%. Oh boy!
When it's 100%. There, you gotta take it.
Oh man, perfect score.
Get that.
This is up there with the new DuckTales.
Yeah.
And every other flipping thing apparently.
Yeah, and everything that has a critics rating.
Yeah, any animated show that has a critics rating. So there you go. So high ratings.
Yeah. People like this show. Yeah.
Yeah, this is popular. It's a popular show. Okay, so what about Twitter? Twitter surely has plenty to say about the Owl House.
Yeah. There seems to be a lot of people posting their love. Also, people just eager for more. It looks like. So we've got Mick Caves, who says, "Are you ready to burst into tears for the next season of the Owl House? Hashtag Owl House, hashtag Losner Seder, hashtag Disney, hashtag Cotty, hashtag Fana, hashtag crying."
Oh yeah. I mean, that strongly suggests it's a good review.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's not just like they're really sad that.
No, they did have some fan art of someone crying as well. So.
That is a good review then.
Yeah.
So in that case, a really good review.
Really good review. Yeah.
I mean, if something makes you cry and you like it, that's good, isn't it?
That's it. Well, they seem to be happy. #crying. So
yeah. I mean, if you can put #crying.
I didn't know. I've never used that one before personally.
Yeah, now's the time.
Maybe go
well played.
Yeah. We've got Amity Slews who says the Owl House is coming back in March, which means we're getting a trailer very soon.
Oh boy, joyous!
Look at that.
That is excited. That's excited.
Excited for the trailer. So
that's. I mean, whew, we've not watched anything where someone sounded this excited. I don't think.
No.
That's impressive.
That is.
#ing.
Yeah, hashtag. I don't know how many people use that many H's, but we've got another Luz Kinney here, who says, "Bro, I miss the Owl House. Sad face."
Oh.
And then all the replies are just same.
Oh. Just a sad fan base.
Yeah, just so down.
#crying.
#crying.
Oh dear.
Real sad. And then just to top it off, this one I feel like it needs a bit of there's a bit of code breaking here from Cheska Lealego, who says, "I am disappointed to unwatch this Disney The Owl House 2B ? Sad face."
Hey.
So I think like 2B is like the second half of the second season. So and that was like either coming back or it's not, or it's come out now. But they say they are disappointed to unwatch it. So I think that means they were waiting to watch it and they hadn't watched it yet, so they were upset that they hadn't seen it.
But it sounds like they have watched it, but then they've somehow erased it from their memory.
and they were disappointed
to have to do that.
To not. Yeah, maybe that's it.
Extreme.
Like they're upset that they can't not see it again because they want to do a rewatch, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I mean, I think that's a positive review, but I thought it was worth putting in just because of how confounding it was.
Yeah.
And I might start tweeting a bit more. I feel like I'm learning a lot from Twitter from just getting to it. First off, I need to use #crying way more. Second of all, I need to just make it so that you have to reread my tweet 5 times to just just touch
to decipher
where I'm getting to. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for those.
Yeah. But I'm not sure about the last one.
Yeah, the last one we don't know.
But I think they're all good reviews. Yeah,
I think so too. It seems everyone is really excited. There's lots of fan art on there. Lots of people just making gifs and memes out of Owl House stuff. Everyone seems pretty pleased about it. Pretty vocal as well about how much they love Owl House.
Well, I mean, so there's a lot of hype.
Yeah.
It's good that we read this afterwards, really, I think, sometimes. But let's go in then, because the first thing I kind of will say is that watching it, you knew it would have a strong fan base. Fan base that would be super like straight in because of what it's about. It's about like, so the main character just doesn't fit in with society. It's like that's the whole first episode. And I'm guessing pretty much her jam, at least for most of the first series. And who knows, maybe beyond. Again, I've not watched any more. But that straight away is going to speak to so many people.
Yeah.
And you can tell she's 100% someone you would meet at like a Comic-Con.
Yeah.
you know. So, and these are the people that are watching a lot of the, you know, young adult animated shows.
Mm-hmm.
So straight away, you know, this is going to be, there's a lot of people that are going to enjoy this. They've aimed it in the right direction. That, strangely enough, doesn't really have much. Well, they do have stuff aimed at them, but they don't have loads aimed at them. For considering, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe not so overtly, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you know, there is a lot. There's Steven Universe, there's Adventure Time, all of those kind of shows. But I mean, maybe I'm thinking more Disney haven't aimed anything at them until this. But yeah, that was the first thing I thought watching it. It's clear who it's aimed at.
Yeah. Getting those outsiders inside. Exactly,
yeah. And I think everyone can relate to that. I mean, even if you aren't particularly an outsider, I think in a way we've all been on both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
Whether you realise it or not, I think we've all, because I mean, if you're part of this group, then you are part of a group. And it's easy to then kind of say that you don't want, because there might be people that, you know, mock you for being in another group. For not being part of their group, but now they've decided, actually, I was just trying to fit in.
Yeah.
And then it's easy to be like, no, I don't want you in this. You know, I digress. But I think we've all been on both sides of it.
Yeah.
So I think anyone can watch this and kind of think, I've been there.
Yeah, it's definitely a relatable subject matter, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, and especially for younger kids who are like, because school is just that dynamic is happening constantly, isn't it? Like
exactly.
It's just you trying to find a place where you're comfortable. Do you know what I mean? Like trying to find your crowd and, you know, trying to, you know, make it through the day without feeling like an oddball, you know, or be picked on for something that you didn't even realize was different, you know. So so yeah, you can tell this definitely is going to speak to a lot of people going through that the whole time. So yeah, it's good to hit, you know, have them hitting the nail on the head with this one.
And it's interesting, obviously we didn't see it in this episode, but that they started including, you know, such a big LGBTQ plus sort of tone to it. Because it's just, it makes sense to do that. Like, it's all about, you know, acceptance, I guess, this show.
Yeah, inclusion.
And it is weird that, I mean, Disney do it, I'd say they do it quite a lot now. Maybe not in such a strong way as this. But you know, with their films and stuff, they're trying to do it more.
Yeah, I think there's lots of like suggestive stuff, isn't there? Like it's never really like, you know,
it's never and that's almost, I guess, the problem, isn't it? Like, if you're just suggesting it, then are you really accepting it? Because it's like, then you kind of like, just so you know, guys, I'm on your side, but I'm not telling anyone.
Yeah, that's it. But as far as everyone else knows, it's all normal. It's all
But don't worry, guys, I'm still straight and white.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, it's nice to have something that is just completely like, here and proud.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you know, we're in that year now. This is new year, new us. You know, I think we've had, you know, the last decade, I think, has seen a lot of change. I mean, the fact that, you know, Disney is such a huge company now as well, you'd think at some point they've got to kind of get that on their roster, haven't they? But in some degree, because, you know, they've got so many studios and, you know, I mean, so many fans as well. Like, you know, the amount of people that love Disney stuff. They must know that many of their fans are going through, you know, a struggle of some point, of some type, and, you know, trying to deal with these kind of things. So why not, like, be like, it's all right, we got you, sort of thing. So that time.
Bad time.
In conclusion, bad time.
But yeah, I mean, like I say, you see the start. Like, this is the first episode. You can already see the seeds being sown, sort of thing. Like, straight off the bat. But it also sets up the entire premise quite well. There's a lot going on, and it's surprisingly resolved at the end.
Yeah,
that's what I mean, she goes to this other world, and then there's this big bad guy that's in charge of everything, but they kind of like just defeat him at the end, which was really, I don't know, a surprise.
Yeah,
that, I mean, obviously there's way more episodes.
Yeah, but they're done, so the rest.
Yeah,
maybe it's just them lounging around. Don't know, not sure.
But I almost like that. It kind of just says like, this show's not about necessarily good versus evil. It's just about the world, and it's about people.
Yeah.
And different. It was a surprise that they ended it. I mean, maybe he probably comes back and stuff. Maybe he's the Team Rocket if it's the Pokemon.
Yeah, it's Pokemon based. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like I say at the start though, surprisingly small amount of owls.
Yeah, definitely.
There's 2 owls, I would say. And one of them is a door.
Yeah.
So interesting.
I thought there was going to be way more owls. Like, I thought that was going to be like a huge thing.
Yeah.
Like, she goes in the owl house, she becomes an owl.
Yeah.
Finds out there's a whole owl world, but that's not how it goes at all.
No. It's very limited on the owls.
Yeah, completely.
I was expecting
my expectations on the amount of owls.
I was really expecting Guardians of Gahul or whatever.
Yeah, full on.
Pure owl-based shenanigans, but no,
none of it.
Not that it's a bad thing though.
No, I was actually quite happy that there was none.
Yeah. They've got, this is more than just owls. In fact, it's very little on the owls.
Yeah, of all the races and types of people and species involved, owls very infrequent in the show.
How did you feel about the art style and animation?
Yeah, I mean, it felt modern. It felt kind of new. I did like the way that things looked, really. I think the characters were quite cool, especially like the little, what's his name, King or whatever.
Yeah.
He was pretty fun. And I mean, I really liked the character design on a lot of the characters, because they were very odd. There's that whole moment where she kind of finds herself like in this new world, and you kind of get a little panoramic of like what's going on, and it's all just weird little creatures and monsters and things doing stuff you wouldn't expect. And I really enjoyed that they do lean into the weird side of it, that things are a bit spooky and a bit odd, and you have got like these creatures that don't look like conventional kind of textbook fantasy characters and stuff, like the main bad guy, for example. He's got this kind of like weird, almost like plague mask going on, and then his arms are like multiple tendrils, which I really liked, that were constantly morphing and stuff. It felt kind of fresh.
And it had like a real medieval vibe about it that is like surprising. Like I felt like I've seen these in old like medieval drawings, those stupid ones where it's just like a rabbit riding a man whose face is like his bum, and then it's also playing the trumpet and these weird things. It's just like, this felt more like, this is strangely more like what medieval fantasy probably should look like.
And I think for me as well, because I'm not really a big fan of just like high fantasy or whatever, like I did enjoy that it had those fantasy elements, but it still felt new. Like it didn't feel like the world was kind of old and clunky or anything. And like there was still a lot of like brickwork and stuff. But it all felt like it's like, it still fits, and it still feels like she hasn't just gone into the past. She's gone into a different world.
Yeah.
Which
all the characters look very fresh, don't they? And modern as well. I did think, I don't know if this was a first episode thing. I really think it probably is, but at times the animation looked a bit cheap. Like early computerized 2D.
Right.
Where it just kind of doesn't mesh.
Yeah, I think it did that in that panoramic bit I was talking about, maybe.
Yeah.
Like where it sort of it was moving and looked a bit weird, a bit choppy almost.
Yeah, a bit juddery, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I do think it's got to be a first episode, or at least early thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I also thought it had elements, weirdly, of Pepper Ann in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I can't explain it, but there's like slight bits of like the character designs, even though you probably think I'm insane. It was more in, the witch.
Yeah.
So she's one of the main characters. There's something about her face that reminded me of a Pepper Ann character.
Ah.
But that was a good thing.
Yeah.
Because it reminded me, like, oh yeah, like it just shows you what Disney can be. Like it's not just all the same. It's not just, Frozen characters.
Yeah.
It can be this as well, and that's I think the best thing about Disney Channel. The stuff we've watched, you can have this, you can have Pepper Ann, you can have gummy bears, you can have gargoyles.
Yeah.
You can have Winnie the Pooh.
That's it.
And it's nice to see them doing this kind of thing again.
Gets it varied, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, what did you think to the humor? Because it's quite like, even though like it's got that sort of juxtaposition, hasn't it, of the spooky stuff, but then it is trying to stay light at the same time. Did that land for you?
Yeah, I liked it. I think because it didn't feel like it was trying too hard, which is always something that I think, young adult shows can really, they've got a tougher line to straddle.
Yeah.
Almost, because, it is like a young adult audience really is way older than what you might think it is, sort of thing. Like it can go from 13 to people in their 20s.
Yeah.
Which is like every year, and when you're that age, like you're changing so much all the time. Your hormones are everywhere and stuff like that. It must be such a hard sort of audience to crack.
Yeah.
Really. But I thought they did it really well. I thought, it was funny. It didn't feel like it was trying too hard to be funny, but it had like fun characters, and that was where a lot of the fun was in. And the voice acting was pretty solid.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just it was original, which always you kind of like that. This like that scene where they're walking through and you see all these weird things.
Yeah.
That alone can sort of make you chuckle because you're seeing things you're not expecting.
Yeah.
And that's all that comedy is, isn't it? Really, it's surprise.
Yeah. And I mean, I definitely enjoyed that. Like, that's kind of what I want when I watch a cartoon, is to step into a different, a different world, a different environment. And this was, it did feel new, which was really, really nice.
Yeah.
And I mean, I enjoyed very much just like the basic premise, in the fact that she was leaving to go to camp, to go become normal, almost like as her parents requested and a teacher wanted, and then ended up turning the complete opposite way and just going into like bizarro world, which is like, oh yeah, that's fun. That's like a cool way to set it up, like which, and I think part of that is you realize that subject matter of normality and sort of society's kind of gaze of what's okay and what isn't is always kind of on the table, but not in a way that feels like intrusive, I don't think. So I think that was a good balance. Yeah,
I think it had like everything. So like the serious notes were pretty on point. The fun of it was on point. The jokes were on point. Like it was. And it knew what it wanted to be. It had an identity, didn't it?
Yeah.
Which for a first episode is surprising how often we see that it doesn't.
Yeah.
Really. But this, I imagine, like, even though it clearly changes a lot, I don't feel like you'd be like, whoa, the first episode is like a different show.
Yeah.
You can tell that it's at least got the bare bones of what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've discussed it. We've talked about the show and its ins and outs. So shall we move on to our reviews?
you having the worst day you've ever had in your entire existence? Have you completely broken down and now are looking for your phone and trying to share your pain with the world? Hashtag crying. Please use hashtag crying.
But the tears don't end there. Perhaps you've watched something deeply emotional that you feel connected to, and out of sheer appreciation for the show, you've welled up and perhaps shed one, maybe 2 tears. Well, there's one way to tell everyone, and that's by using hashtag crying.
Were you trying to eat a small and sad dinner of pure dry crackers, but the tears have welled up in your face, and now the moisture has dripped down, cascaded over your cheeks, and turned your dry crackers into wet mush? It's time for hashtag crying.
And now try new. Hashtag gasping. Perhaps you've watched something where you thought, that was shocking. Well, we've got you covered. Hashtag gasping.
Wow, that caught me completely off guard. Hashtag gasping.
What? Hashtag gasping. Okay, so here at Toon Jam, we have a 3-point rating system that goes as follows. Thumbs up. Get the owls out, baby. Thumbs down. Where are the owls? And shaky middle. Oh, there's 2 owls. So that didn't make any sense there. Thumbs up is good. Thumbs down.
It makes perfect sense to me.
And the shaky middle is in the middle. I feel like these are getting harder to do with every episode. Quite frankly,
that was perfect for our house. Yeah.
So the Owl House, episode 1. Your thoughts?
Yeah. So owls. The number of owls, very surprising. Very surprising that was low, of course. But no, I immediately pretty much liked the way that it looked, the way that it flowed. It was very quick to get into, the sort of main premise of the story. I liked the way that it was set up, and liked the characters as well. Like the main character as well. She was very likable, which I think is very important in a show like this. And I think the moral overall as well, completely, I think it's, like you said, it's almost weird that we don't see this more often. Definitely a good premise and something very sort of, important to teach kids that, not everyone is the same and there are, differences, and sometimes you might feel a bit out of place. And to then have this show kind of, essentially built around that, and it's full of weird spooky creatures and odd monsters and big tentacle men that want dates. It was all really fun. It was a fun experience. I did like how it started to get a bit dark and a bit spooky, and then still managed to land with the humor and stuff. I think they've managed to balance it really well, and the story as well seems like it could really it can really go places. So I was pretty much, by the time the credits came, I was kind of buckled in to be like, oh, I wonder what happens next. And so that must mean it's a thumbs up from me.
Yes, well, gleaming review there. But yeah, I mean, what's not to enjoy? It like say, strong themes, good morals. Just sort of reading up and talking about what's to come on it. Is exciting. Like it is something that it's something different and it's something fresh. And I think as well, like, it's one of those shows where obviously we constantly see in the media and like especially clickbait articles and stuff about this character being gay, this character is now a female, this character is now black, like whatever they've got, and it kicks up such a fuss. And then you've got a show like this which just dives in feet first, has it all on a plate and will show you that, you know, actually you can still enjoy this. You can still, just because you might not be one of them groups, doesn't mean that it should change the way you view it at all. Like, we can all enjoy everything, really.
Yeah.
If it's good. So it's nice to have that. And I think this is why it's important to have inclusion in a show, because, you know, it does change your perception. And I know a lot of people are afraid of change, which is why they don't like the idea of that. But, you know, give it a shot, give it a chance. I think you'll like it. It's got great fantasy themes, fun art style. It's quite cutesy, but, you know, not too cutesy. It's got that dark tone. It's like a weird dark cutesy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what's in it, like an oxymoron type thing, but it works really well. And you can tell it's going to get better as well. You can tell that the more you watch it, the more you'll enjoy it. So yeah, thumbs up. Oh boy, we're on a streak.
Yeah.
We're flying.
2022. What a...
Oh boy. I mean, we did have that Blade Runner drop, but then straight back up.
Back on. Let's forget about that. Forget about Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And I did forget about Blade Runner.
And that's why we gave it a thumbs down.
Yeah, and that's why it was forgettable.
So, I mean, what did you think about it? Maybe you disagree. Maybe you were like, you know what, I'm sick of this 100% nonsense. Maybe you were that 5%.
Yeah.
Or maybe, like us, you thoroughly enjoyed it. Maybe you've watched more and you want to tell us just how excited you are for us to watch more. Please feel free to do so on the three unaccepting individuals of the internet: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, at Toon Jam Pod. If you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to rate and review us. It really helps us out, or share it with a friend. There's also plenty of older episodes you can find over on our YouTube page, which is you'll find us at Toon Jam Pod. And we also have a Patreon for bonus episodes. We are currently in space. If you like shows with in space in the title, you are in for a treat. Let me tell you. And we also have a merchandise store, bit.ly/Toon Jam shop, where you can get all sorts of ludicrous Toon Jam memorabilia. Otherwise, if you have any recommendations of other stuff we should watch, maybe something we've already watched but we didn't, you know, get the right episode, maybe you want to give us the right episode, whatever, just let us know. Send us a message. We're always happy to take on recommendations, and it, you know, it's fun for us as well, so that's great. But I prattle on, so without any more of that prattle, let me just say thank you once again for listening, and until next time, you stay jammy.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. If you want to help the show keep going, you can be extra jammy by heading over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/toonjampod. Here you can get a shout out on the show or unlock bonus episodes. Ratings and reviews anywhere you listen to the podcast also really help us out. So thank you, and stay jammy.